Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Mind Hiking Podcast. I'm your host, Brody Frye, and today we're going to be talking about making a difference. So, stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Brody Frye, and here we dive deep into difficult questions. We'll map out thoughts, theories, and crazy ideas for the love of knowledge and growth. So, how do we answer some of the mind's toughest questions? This is the Mind Hiking Podcast. All right, everyone. Today is going to be a quickie because I got to mow the lawn. But the topic, making a difference, I want to bring up three just, quick scenic examples. The first one just being, and kind of going along with mowing the lawn, just imagine like a meadow or just like, or like a park with like perfectly even cut grass, but it's kind of getting a little bit shaggy. And you got like breezes, like gusts of wind blowing through, but it's all like calm, soothing breezes. But you can like see the blades of grass bending over in waves, like it washes over the grass. You can see the grass bending in different shapes, like in different places of the fields. You just see the grass laying differently. You can see where each gust of wind is, even though it's invisible, but you can just like see spots in the grass that are blowing differently than others. And you can just like watch the air just wash over the grass. And it's interesting how like just different parts of it, you can like see the swirls just from the grass and how it's laying. So that would be the first example. We're going to break these down, but I want to go through the examples first. Second example would be very similar example, but waves of the ocean. And this is another very common, stereotypical example. I mean, everybody uses waves of the ocean to describe everything basically, but this example I do like. Just, it's waves of the ocean are so, it's just something that, we've all seen and just easy to wrap your mind around, but just the wave coming in, washing over the sand and then carrying back out, and another one coming back in. But like some waves, you can kind of see where it tails off and ends if you're looking like horizontally, and you can see it come up and then the white cap breaks and washes, and sometimes that wave doesn't break in some spots, and it's just interesting watching that water rise, and then it just builds up, and then you just watch that, it just kind of curls over, and you just watch that white cap break on the top, and it just, but it doesn't break through the whole wave, but just like parts of it, and like the wave just carries all that the surrounding water with it. Like when it builds up, it's not just like a water particle that comes up. No, it's like it is like everything around it just builds up with it. And then you get that white cap and it breaks over and then washes over onto the shore. And it's a beautiful thing, but it's just interesting how it carries everything around it with it. And then you get this, like the dips between waves and then everything, and the wave coming back up behind it. But like the wave carries all the water with it that's near it. Now the final example, it's this one I like. I find myself using this example the most, but, and again, another water example, but just a glass pond, like a mirror pond. Have you ever seen like a super still surface of water? It's like a mirror, especially like not just like a bowl or a cup of water, but like outside, like a pond or a lake, but like super still. It's just a beautiful thing where it's like mirroring its surroundings. Like that's so beautiful. But a drop of water, like you can see every ripple on the surface, and you just see a drop of water in the way it ripples out, and just how one drop can cause this ripple effect. And on those glassy lakes or ponds, if it is that smooth, you can see that ripple carry out for so far. It just like carries out almost like seems like forever. It's beautiful. But then if you got, droplets or wind or anything else affecting it, like you're not going to be able to notice a single drop. If there's a lot of noise on the lake, then it drowns out the small drops, but those ripples are still there and still affecting the rest of the lake. But those glassy lakes, a single drop can just ripple out and affect so much around it. Now, those are the 3 examples that I wanted to share, but how does that have anything to do with making a difference? Some might, it might be crystal clear where I'm going with this. Others might not quite understand where I'm going with this or see how each one of these examples fit together or compare. But let's start with that grass example again. And this one's a little bit different because it's like an external force, but what I really like about this is when you're looking at that grassy field, you can really see the way that one push of something, one gust can affect so much around it. And if you're far enough away from it, you might not even notice it or feel it. But basically, that's the same thing with humans and how connected we are and the distance you are away from certain situations and where you happen to put yourself. Because everything around you is affecting you. Every emotion, every word shared with you, every gust of wind blowing across your body, everything is affecting you and where you put yourself and how far you distance yourself from certain things, and whether or not you are involved in certain problems and things like that. But everything's constantly affecting your surroundings, and where you put yourself is making a difference on who you are. And that the grass example in a field, you can really see how that, that's affecting the surrounding blades, and they all bend together. And that goes the same with the most people that you surround yourself with. There's a very common phrase that you're the average of the 5 people you see the most or you spend the most time with. And same situation is we're all bending the same, kind of doing the same thing because we're all in a similar situation or surroundings. And as if you're looking at that grassy field, as the wind is blowing the grass, and say you can take a snapshot and pause life for just a moment, and you look out and you see all those blades of grass bending the same way. And if you like pan over to the side, you just see those blades of grass like slowly they're standing up taller and taller and taller and then straighter. And once you get out of that gust of wind, then the rest of the field is all standing up straight or getting hit by another gust of wind and they're laying a different way. But, progressively, it's the farther you distance yourself from that gust of wind or whatever the circumstances, it's not going to affect you quite as much, but it does pan out, it does ripple out, and there is some effect on you. So just distancing yourself from certain situations, and this can go another way too, where if it's a positive thing or a positive change and you want to put yourself there, like it's a refreshing breeze, then maybe you want to put yourself there and then put yourself there. And if you want to surround yourself with the people that you want to be, and if you're putting yourself around people that you want to be sooner or later, it's just interesting how I think it's more of we become the people around us rather than we find people that are similar to us. I think a select few find people that are similar to hang out with. And obviously with friends and stuff, you kind of get more choice. But I think a lot of it, especially with work situations that you don't necessarily have control over, you start to be very similar, start acting the same, and you just kind of just going through the same thing and being humans. You start bending to the same gust of wind like that. Now carrying into the wave, the water, the ocean wave example, this one is definitely more positive. I like this one because as that like swell comes up, everything's rising. And like I've talked about on the podcast before, just the thought of bringing things upward is like, generally accepted as progression or growth, like going the motion of upward. So just the rising wave, the water that's rising up is bringing all the water around it up as well. And it's just a beautiful thing, because if you apply that to everyday life with humans, like that works as well. Everything in nature is all so similar. One human being grows and changes and goes in the right direction, and all the closest family members or relatives, like it's affecting all the people that person's surrounding themselves with. You're changing people around you. Now I'm going to quickly bring in the water drop on the lake, because it's a water example and really works nicely here. That drop of water on the glass-like lake ripples out, and it affects everybody. This can go every way, whether it's a negative sense, a positive sense, whether you're trying to build yourself up and it's cheering people up around you. They're seeing the growth and the change in you, and they start to look at themselves and be like, wow, that person's really making a difference. Or if you smile at somebody and then it cheers them up and they smile at the next person, and then that person's smiling when they walk around the corner and make eye contact with somebody else and they're smiling, and then next thing you know, you got the whole town smiling at each other, and it's just like, it's wildfire. It's just such a cool thing. So the smallest things make a difference. If you are struggling with thinking that a single human being like you can't make a difference, just think again, because you do and you can. It's amazing how powerful we are as human beings. Now I'm just going to leave this really nice and short, just like that. I think you guys got the gist of this. I like this one. It's simple, sweet, to the point, and I love the imagery. So I really think it helps, bring your minds really into this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it's short, but I hope you liked it. So thank you so much for tuning into this bonus episode. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for all of your support, and stay tuned for Monday. We got some good ones coming up. I'm excited for it. So look out for those, and have a great rest of your week.